Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Dungeon Dive. When people ask me what major dungeon crawl they should get into, they will often ask me, what should I invest my money in? The original Warhammer Quest, Darklight, Memento Mori, or Shadows of Brimstone? My answer is always Shadows of Brimstone. And the reason I think that is because it is the most alive, the most living game out there, in the sense that not only is there so much stuff for it already available, but there's also more and more and more to come. This might be one of the most, if not the most supported game out there. Maybe something like Carcassonne or Ticket to Ride or something like that, or maybe Arkham Horror 2nd Edition. But regardless of all that, this is at least in the top 5 games that the company Flying Frog Productions just continues to release stuff for. Now, this is not going to be a full unboxing, Kickstarter unboxing for Forbidden Fortress. I only did the Sumo pledge, the small pledge, and I got a couple extras. I got a few more things coming in the next wave. There's a couple more enemy packs and the feudal village. But the reason I only did the small pledge on this is because I already have too much stuff for this game. There's no way I could even fit the large pledge, whatever it was, the Shogun pledge, in my room. I actually do not have the space for a pledge that big, and I already have so much stuff for this game that I could probably play it every week for 2 years and never see everything. Because in addition to what you're going to see today here, I also have pretty much everything from the mine. Well, I didn't do it Kickstarter, but I pretty much have everything for the Old West version. All of my tiles are in here, papers and books, storage tub 1, storage tub 2, card storage 1, card storage 2, extra stuff, and then 3 tubs of minis here. So yeah, there's too much stuff available for this game, and it ends up making playing the game a massive hassle. And so to people who are looking to buy stuff, I would say don't buy everything. Buy the things that interest you, the expansions, the enemy sets. I always suggest that people, so if you were just getting in to Shadows of Brimstone and you wanted to go with the Old West, and I would say start with the Old West, because the stuff available for the Japanese setting right now is pretty limited, and it's going to be a while until the stuff starts entering the retail chain. But I would say, buy both of the starter sets for the Old West, buy the Frontier Town expansion, and then buy all of the deluxe enemy packs and a few of the extra characters from the website, from the Flying Frog Productions website. And with all of that stuff, you will have a ton of game. The deluxe enemy packs are actually, I think, like the best buy for Shadows of Brimstone, because they add a lot of stuff. But what I'm going to do today is, this is going to be kind of the first part of a long ongoing series about Shadows of Brimstone. I'm not sure how this isn't really an introduction to Shadows of Brimstone, but what this is going to be, we're going to just take a look at what the stuff that we're going to use as we start up our campaign again. One thing I'm really going to miss moving into the Japanese setting is the Hex Crawl expansion for the Wild West, because I can't imagine playing Shadows of Brimstone without all of the extra stuff that Hex Crawl adds in the way that it connects the various missions. If you guys don't know what Hex Crawl is, you can look it up on BGG. But it's a system that someone made that really does a really good job of fleshing out the world around the dungeon diving in the game. So we will be playing the Forbidden Fortress core set without the hex crawl stuff, and we're going to be using the Blasted Wastes also. One of the reasons why we're just going to be using these two sets is because I've not played these yet, and so I want to experience these in a more condensed form. And then I also went through some of my threat cards and enemies stuff and pulled out a kind of a custom set of cards that we're going to be using. I did think of a way. I like to think of ways that you can combine the different worlds thematically. And so while this is a little dark, it does work. So as we all know, Japan is really the only post-apocalyptic nation on the earth. They're the only nation to have suffered the great tragedy of being attacked by atomic weapons, the atom bomb. And Blasted Wastes is like an atomic wasteland. And so I was thinking about something like the Old West, atom bombs, some kind of atomic warhead deep underneath the ground has gone off and exploded. And it caused the kind of a weird time warp thing, and that all of the gates are now connected to this weird world, Japan. And so it kind of fits. Maybe if you have some kaiju or something, you can think of, you could think of like the ancient one here as being like a kaiju, maybe a squid that has been affected by the atomic radiation, kind of like Godzilla, or the ancient dragon here as being some kind of kaiju or something like that. So yeah, just trying to think of ways that when I introduce these two new worlds to the other players, we can kind of come up with a story, because we like to develop the world as we are playing. One other thing I wanted to mention is I've heard more than a surprising amount of comments that disparage the connection between the East and the West. People say, oh, I don't want to introduce Japan because it doesn't fit with the theme, or something like that. And I really have to wonder, well, for one thing, the Chambara genre of cinema, the samurai genre of cinema, has a ton in common with the Western genre of cinema. As a matter of fact, the two are practically joined at the hip. They are different sides to the exact same coin. Case in point is the Seven Samurai and the Magnificent Seven, or what is it, Yojimbo and, is it a fistful of dollars or a few dollars more? There is a marriage between the samurai and the cowboy that is indisputable. There are also films such as Charles Bronson and Red Sun, The Master Gunfighter, Zipangu, movies that have combined the samurai and the cowboy together in such a way that you can really see how similar the two mythologies and histories are. So for people saying that the two themes don't mesh up, that's just wrong. They do. And so get over it and enjoy Forbidden Fortress, okay? So let's take a look at my card box here, and you can kind of see the custom setup that I have here. Let's see if I can get a better angle. And so these are the cards that we're going to be using. I've divided them. Shadows of Brimstone and Warhammer Quest, I believe, are the only two games that I've sleeved. I wish I would not have started sleeving the cards. I would like to actually, if I can, remove everything, but that'd be a huge waste of money, and probably, I don't know, I'm just going to keep sleeving Shadows of Brimstone, but I usually don't sleeve my games. So, well, that's that. So anyway, so we have threat cards. We have epic threat, high threat, medium threat, and low threat. And these are a mix of things from Forbidden Fortress, from Blasted Wastes, and a few enemy packs that I thought would be cool to play against. So we're going to be playing against the Scourge Rats, the Ghost Warriors from Blasted Wastes. Let's see, those are the Acid Tentacles from Forbidden Fortress, the Tengu, the Ancient Horrors, the Magma Fiends. There's the Ninja Clan. That's one of the deluxe enemy packs from Forbidden Fortress. Onis, Darkstone Hydras, Hell Vermin. And let's see, is there any other unique enemy? The Dishonored Dead. The Bone Eaters, that's from the Belly of the Beast, the other world for Forbidden Fortress. And Werewolves, I added in the Werewolf pack because I think that kind of fits with the theme here going. And Sand Crabs. So those are basically the threats that we're going to be experiencing during our campaign for a while. If we get bored of those enemy packs, maybe we'll swap some out, add some others. And then let's see, I don't know if we have anything different on the epic. Your Werewolf epic, your Ninja Clan epic. I did play with the Ancient one because I've never fought him before. I don't think there's anything else added from any other set here. Blasted Waste epic. Oh yeah, and then I want to fight against the Goliath because I thought he kind of looks like a kaiju type beast, and also the burrower. So I just kind of tried to pick things that would fit with this the mishmash of other worlds that we're going to be exploring. And then we have all of our character cards for Fofo. We've got, just like the starting powers, starting gear, starting spell cards for the sorceress and the personal items. We've got your map cards for the canyons, so from Blasted Wastes. Encounters for the canyons, artifacts for the canyons. We have map cards for the Blasted Wastes, encounters for Blasted Wastes. One thing one of my complaints about the game is out of the boxes, not the encounters, but the threats for the other worlds, they're not very exciting. This is especially true out of the box for the threats for the Belly of the Beast. Really uninspired. So I did end up ordering a couple extra enemy packs from their website. Hopefully they come soon, just to be able to play the other world from the core set for Forbidden Fortress with a little more variety. Because this is the other world threat for the Blasted Wastes, and you just don't get a ton of variety. Desert Stranglers, so we'll use those from the other core set. I don't know. It's just, I feel like they kind of they don't populate the other worlds with enough variety in their threats. Then we have map cards for Forbidden Fortress. So the new tiles in Forbidden Fortress are excellent. They're really, really nice. And one of the reasons why I sleeve this game, and this just reminded me of it, and probably the most important reason, is with the advanced encounters where you always encounter the same encounter when you go through the maps. I double sleeve the encounter with the map tile, and it is such a good solution rather than having to keep a separate deck. And as you can see, you can't even tell which one has the double card, so you're not going to be able to read the deck or something. See, that one had one and I couldn't even tell. That one didn't have one and I couldn't tell. So yeah, if you're looking for a solution to have your advanced encounters with the map tiles, double sleeving is the best. So then we have encounters. So I have quite a few encounters from Forbidden Fortress. There were quite a bit of extra encounters that came with the sumo pledge, so that was nice. And then we have artifacts for Forbidden Fortress, map cards for Belly of the Beast. So this is the other world where you're going inside a giant monster. I'm kind of will pretend that we're like inside a giant kaiju, a big monster who has been, you know, mutated by the atomic waste and the raining darkstone. A moist airway. These are pretty gross. Some of these are pretty nasty. And one cool thing they added in Forbidden Fortress is there are now encounters that you have in passages. And as a matter of fact, there's a whole encounter deck just for the passages in the Belly of the Beast. And they're called passage encounters. So that is pretty cool. It's gonna, I think it's really gonna make the passages much more exciting, not just time wasters. And there are, I believe there are more passages in the Forbidden Fortress set than in any of the other sets. Another thing I think they kind of skimp out on in the core sets are the darkness cards and the growing dread cards. I mean, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's only 7 growing dread cards that come with Forbidden Fortress. That is way too few. So I will probably be going through my stack of growing dread from the original Brimstone and adding some more in there. Same as the darkness cards. There's just not enough, because you see a lot of darkness cards and a lot of growing dread cards in every game, and it's going to get boring real quick encountering the same ones over and over again. And then we have the loot decks for the Wasteland, loot decks, basic loot deck, a loot for Fofo, scavenge basic, scavenge for Fofo. And then we have the Wasteland War Masters for Blasted Wastes. We have the Werewolf expansion, the Shadow Clan expansion. And then I have my trait cards for the Living Statue, one of the bosses in Forbidden Fortress. Trait cards for Haryanago. Trait cards for the Elemental Dragon. Trait cards for the Ancient One. And then Dragon Magic. Magic for the Spider. And then gear for Fofo. Different world cards. And then finally, my stack of info cards that I don't sleeve, and we just keep all of them together so we can pass those around. And people can look up the different info on different tokens and rules and that kind of thing. So yeah, so that is my card box that we are going to be playing with. Should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to all of those encounters. Right now, in my Blasted Wastes box, I just have minis. Got our trays of wounds and sanity, my Crown Royale Northern Harvest dice bag, and then right now I just have my minis in plastic bags because I'm waiting for a couple more of these. I'll just grab this one I use for Myth and Warhammer Quest. These are the boxes that I keep my minis in. They're great boxes. They hold quite a bit. They have good storage compartments. And so I'm getting a couple more of these to keep our minis in that we will be using for our upcoming camp. Whoops, just dropped some minis behind the table. But yeah, so we have those. We'll go over what enemies I have. This model here I almost smashed and threw away. It was a complete pain in the ass to put together. I think I did this wrong. I could not figure it out. I couldn't get the legs to stand up. I almost just threw it against the wall in frustration, and I would have used the giant spider from Massive Darkness instead. But it finally went together. And then we've got your Living Statue. And like I said, we will be using a few characters or monsters from the original set. And now I have a ton of more guys to prime and stain. Not looking for... All right, sorry about that. I'm back. I had a little technical difficulty with my camera. Something weird happened. Anyways, Yeah, so that's the mini box. This is all going to be put in better storage as soon as they arrive, I think today, from Amazon. I went to, what was it, Hobby Lobby, where I usually get those boxes, and they didn't have any. 2 times in a row they didn't have any, so I'm just going to start ordering them from Amazon. You know, this box is tightly packed with everything else that we're going to be using to play with. I have my baggie of books. So let's see what we have in here. We have the Kickstarter rules for the Sumo Pledge. This includes all of the different deluxe enemy packs and dragons and all of the stuff that you would need. And then we have our adventure and rulebook from Blasted Wastes. I love these books. These are really great books. This is my favorite size of manual. I wish more companies would use this this size rather than the big square manuals. We've got the rule book for Forbidden Fortress with lots of cool pictures and information. Then we've got the adventure book for Forbidden Fortress with a ton of really, really cool background stories and art and all the stuff about the characters, the world. So FFP does a really great job of putting together their books. They're always just kind of fun to read. And then we have our, let's see here. I usually laminate a lot of these sheets. I haven't done that yet because I'm out of lamination pouches. But so these are the stat cards for the monsters that we're going to be using in our campaign. Quite a few. Should be some good variety. Looking forward to it. I've hardly fought. I don't think I've fought a single one of these before. Hell Vermin I've fought, and Scourge Rats, I think, and the Goliath. I guess those are the only ones I've really fought out of these. So that's going to be fun. And I've heard that the new monsters from Forbidden Fortress are quite a bit more dangerous. So I know at least one of our players is going to be using his orphan from the original campaign, and I'm sure the other 2 guys are going to want to use their characters. I started a wandering samurai, but I think I'm going to switch to the monk because I love playing monks and holy characters, so that's going to be a lot of fun. So we have a traveling monk, we've got the sorceress, the samurai warrior, pretty boring. He's almost exactly like the wandering samurai, so I'm really disappointed that they included a character that was so similar to one they already had. Assassin. And these were the 2 exclusives, I think, from the Kickstarter. The Tradarian veteran and the sumo. I might play a sumo too because I loved E Honda in Street Fighter 2. He's my favorite Street Fighter character. And then we have our large sheets. So we've got our burrower. We've got our ancient dragon, the ancient one. We've got our new madness and injury chart, our new depth event chart, and our new town. Really looking forward to the feudal village when that gets released because if that adds as much as the frontier town, it'll be a fantastic expansion. We've got our rules for the feudal village, town events. We've got our new marketplaces or our new locations, the village market, the shrine, the guardhouse, the tavern, the swordsmith, the house of healing, and then we have our depth event chart for Blasted Wastes. It'll be really cool to have 2 completely different towns now to visit. That I'm really looking forward to adding that. So then we have our locations for the wasteland. What is it? The barter town, mining operation, gladiator arena, desert marketplace, the scavenger dock, the Wasteland Workshop, and maybe the most interesting of all the locations is the temple, because the first time you go inside the temple, you roll a 6-sided dice to see what kind of temple it is and what the people are worshiping. So they could be worshiping an old massive warhead, or a great kraken, the dark stone warp drive, a deactivated Mark II warden, the Hall of Bones, or the Gateway of the Void. I really like that. That is a really neat idea, to have a completely different kind of temple per town, to see what the different factions and tribes out in the wastelands, what kind of object they are worshiping. Pretty cool. And then I'll just go through, show you how I have this organized. Here we have the passages for the Blasted Wastes and the Canyon. Here we have the passages for the Forbidden Fortress and the Belly of the Beast. And as you can see, there are a lot more passages this time around. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Usually there's only 6, so there are no passage encounters for Forbidden Fortress, though. That would have been nice if they would have included some of those. So I'm going to still be using the money to keep track of money. The way we play is we pool all money and experience, and then after the mission is over, we divide it up as equally as possible. Because a lot of the characters are pretty imbalanced, and so we've found that just certain characters just get more gold and XP than others. And since this is a co-op game, we've decided to. We do play with quite a few house rules. We've got our tokens to keep track of stat upgrades if you want. And then we have our XP tokens. I don't know if they're going to be making Japanese thematic XP and gold tokens. We'll have to see. And we've got our gates and end caps for Blasted Wastes and the canyons. Are gate and end caps for Forbidden Fortress and Belly of the Beast. Here we have all of our tiles for Blasted Wastes and the canyons. Here we have all of our tiles for Forbidden Fortress and Belly of the Beast. A giant sphincter there. Few miscellaneous tokens. So these are pretty cool. These remind me of some of the pieces from Advanced Space Crusade, some of the organic matter thing. And I know there's a scenario where you have to go in and do something with these, so that's pretty cool. And then we have our day-night tracker for the Blasted Wastes and Canyons. Got some elite tokens and various tokens. The enemy chits. We have our encounter tokens and the location tokens from Blasted Wastes. This is all of the cardboard tokens from the Werewolf expansion. And then this is all the chits and everything for the combined from the two sets. And it's really hard to see, but I have it written down what is in each one. So I am going to be looking for a different storage solution because I don't like this box a lot, but it works for now. Our new depth tracker. And then under this sheet here, finally, are some of the new tiles are absolutely massive and they don't fit in the plastic bags. So a couple of these from the Canyons and Blasted Wastes are absolutely gigantic. And then the ones from Forbidden Fortress are huge. And they have really improved the art. The art on these new tiles is gorgeous. The colors are deep, very just kind of, I don't know, it's evocative of the theme, I think, more so than some of the other art. Pretty gross there. And they also have more interesting layouts. So these white lines, they kind of dictate that you have to go down a certain path. This tile here is really nice. So yeah, that's what we're going to be playing with. I got a couple, like I said, a couple other enemy packs coming for Forbidden Fortress and Belly of the Beast. But yeah, so that's about it. I just wanted to make a video I know some people were asking if I was going to be getting Forbidden Fortress, and I said yeah, but I wasn't sure if I was going to do a video on it because I wanted to eventually do a in-depth look at Shadows of Brimstone in the same way that I have done with Warhammer Quest. But yeah, so that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I don't know if I'll ever do a playthrough of Shadows of Brimstone. We'll see, probably not. But expect some more videos in the near future, at least for sure sometime this year. So all right guys, I hope you had a good time and hope you have a good day, and we will talk to you later. Bye bye.